Can the girls just not have like a nice focus episode for once? Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 19th episode of the show Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, as well as the 312th episode overall, titled The Lost Galactabeasts, Part 1. We start this episode on Saturn, I think, where our ship is pulling on another big one with chains. The chains let go, dropping the big ship down. And then the little ship zooms away, arriving at the Scorpion Stinger. Someone comes aboard, hitting Stingwingers out of the way as they make their way to the bridge to Scorpius. Introducing Deviat, a new loyal servant who wishes to serve Scorpius. He says he has something interesting, showing a device that controls 3 Zords. He wants to be the second in command, saying that word has it that Trakeena didn't want it, so he'd like to get into the cocoon. Scorpius says, hell no, and prove to me that your Zords are actually as powerful as you say. Deviat says fine, ready to show what he can do. On Terra Venture, there's a team working with Kendricks in the science lab trying to decipher the book that they found. Stanton asks if there's been any luck, and a researcher says that they're getting nowhere. They're completely in the dark about this. Meanwhile, Kendricks is just flipping through this book with no damn gloves or like anything. She finds a page with the Galactabeasts on it and it's torn in two. Also, Maya's in the jungle and she finds the Galactabeasts, who are roaring at her. She's like, yeah, I sense it too. This bitch. Kai's car also broke down and he has dinner on the stove. Damon fixes it and Kai is like, I don't care, get me home. So he makes Damon drive. What kind of driving Miss Daisy bullshit? They get fired at and Kai thinks it's just broken again, but actually it's Deviat firing at them. Go Galactic! Blue and Green jump up, taking on Deviat, but Kai is hit back down before Damon as well. But this time he's in style. Deviat goes after him, knocking them next to each other. To be honest, Deviat is a lot more capable of a fighter than one might expect here. He fires on them, hitting them down. Deviat is taking them with him. Elsewhere, Kai wakes up still morphed with collars and cuffs on. He wakes up Damon, trying to get them off, but they can't. Deviat is there behind them, saying that the Rangers are now his prisoners. They're under his control now, and it seems like they're on another planet. A Stingwinger inserts the remote into a device, and it turns on, which makes Kai and Damon slash each other. Deviat says that the energy that they will exert while fighting will power his new Zords, which is pretty different. Kai and Damon try to resist the urge to fight, but they can't, so now they're fighting again. The energy readings are going up, and Deviat is enjoying this. Each slash gets it closer to being full. Okay, so like 20 minutes later, after all this fighting between the two, they start to slow down, but they're just exhausted, collapsing onto the ground. Deviat says fine, rest then, but they need to start to fight again soon. Meanwhile, later, Kendricks is looking at the book again, and she looks around, maybe thinking that she hears something. She looks at the page of the Galactabeasts, and she finds a missing part of the page, showing 3 other Galactabeasts. Maya then comes in, asking if she knows what time it is, which is a great question because they're in fucking space. Maya says she feels weird, like she did when they first found the Galactabeasts. Kendricks then shows her what she found. 3 more. Rhino, Falcon, and Shark, I think? In the dorm, Leo walks in and he finds dinner is indeed on the stove, now burnt beyond belief. He's yelling for Kai, going over to his dorm. Maya comes in and she tries to say what they found, but she's confused by the smoke. They don't know where Kai or Damon are. Kendricks comes in saying that Kai didn't show up for his shift. They try to call them on their morphers, but nothing. They know something is definitely wrong here. Meanwhile, I guess on Saturn, Kai and Damon are fighting each other again and the energy readings are going sky high. Deviat puts the levels insanely high to make Damon kill Kai because that will really boost things. But Damon is trying to fight it, but he can't. He then falls over, swinging his sword and letting go, hitting the machine and blowing it up. This lets them free themselves and they're going to run away. Deviat finds his remote, sticking Stingwingers on them as they hobble away. Kai and Damon find a beach, I guess, trying to get away. Stingwingers aren't far behind, and Deviat isn't much further behind. They've been pushed into a corner, and as the Stingwingers come forward, of course, explosions go off. It's the other 3 Rangers and their jet jammers. They rush over, making sure their friends are okay before they start fighting off all the Stingwingers. Now we're back to really good fight choreography, which I think is what this season should be really best remembered for at this point. Deviat comes forward, attacking Maya and yeeting her away. And just as I'm thinking about it, here's Mike, all morphed and ready. Also, Kai and Damon are okay, so whatever. Maya and Mike take on Deviat and they're regrouping. They activate the lights of Orion, and wow, this was a Maya episode in Japan, huh? Whatever, they use power-up mode energy ball thing on Deviat, who absorbs their attack into his remote. Whoops. They actually gave him the power that they needed to call forth the Zords, Stratoforce and Centaurus. Deviat calls for the Zords to kill the Rangers, firing down on them in big fluffy explosions. The Rangers call it the Galactabeasts, as well as the Torozord, which makes me realize that Torozord isn't a Galactabeast. Where the hell did he come from? Whatever, they form the Galaxy Megazord with the lights while Mike gets out the Defender Torozord. The Megazords stand in front of the Stratoforce and Centaurus, but then the Galaxy Megazord and the Taurizord just stop working. Deviat says they're dumb for not figuring this out, and I have to agree. They then just start getting their asses kicked by Centaurus and Stratoforce, knocked around pretty easily, and then blown up real good and knocked into the ground. Deviat says his plan is working perfectly because the Galactabeasts wouldn't want to fight back, leaving the Rangers absolutely helpless. He tells the two evil Zords to really pull out all the stops, so Stratoforce uses a boomerang while Centaurus uses a blaster, hitting them down. Deviat then tells them to go back to the Zenith Carrier Zord. On the Scorpion Stinger, Deviat is there with Scorpius, who yells at him for not killing the Rangers. Deviat says he could kill them whenever, so let's talk Cocoon. And Scorpius says no, not until you kill the Rangers, which Deviat agrees to. Kai and Kendricks are working on deciphering the language of the book. They're pretty stuck on things, and they think it's just kind of impossible to decode. Kendricks thinks it might help them stop the Zords, so they have to keep trying. The Zords will be back soon. To be continued. This episode is a really good introduction to Deviat, and I like that. I mean, word got around the galaxy pretty quickly that Trakeena left home, I guess, and now he's here to prove himself as a second in command. He wants what she didn't want, and Scorpius seems a little bit bitter about it all. Also, the ways that he used to power up the new Zords was really well done too. Overall, excellent episode that really felt just kind of fun to watch. So how will this two-parter wrap things up? Find out next time, but until then, may the power protect you.